Your YouTube channel might be suffering if you're listening to some of this really terrible YouTube advice. Now, I have been teaching people YouTube for a really long time. I've worked with a lot of different creators, and over the years of working with YouTube, I've heard a lot of terrible advice. This is just going to be the tip of the iceberg. So if you want a sequel to this video, go ahead and let me know down below. But one of the big things I'm hearing right now is that you should not be leveraging the power of shorts on YouTube, or you should have a separate channel for your shorts. And this is just terrible advice. Now, of course, there are going to be outliers to every situation. For some people, maybe that works, but for the vast majority of us, it is really not a great idea to separate those out or just to look over a feature that YouTube is giving us access to. So we know that all social platforms, if they're giving us access to something, they want us to use it. Shorts does really, really well for getting numbers in. Now, if you are working toward monetization, your shorts do not count toward your watch hours, but they do count toward your subscribers. And shorts are really well known for bringing in a lot of subscribers. Shorts are vertical under 60-second videos that go into the shorts feed and reach a new audience and bring in a lot of people. Your watch time might be really good, but once you're monetized, you are not going to get paid very much for it, but a couple of pennies is better than nothing, right? Now, if we separate those things out, now you have a channel solely devoted to your shorts where you're only going to be making pennies if you eventually get to monetization. It is very hard to monetize just on shorts unless you have super popular trending videos. So incorporating them with your longer form content is actually incredibly helpful. And if you do this with intentionality, you can use your shorts to drive traffic to your long form content and vice versa. So shorts is really good for growing, really good for conversations, really good for giving replies to people. It's really good for showing short things. But what I will tell you, and we've talked about this in other videos, is that if you have a really good piece of content and you put it as a short instead of a longer form piece of content and it takes off, I have one right now that's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views in. And I am making literal pennies on that because I made it a short rather than a long form piece of content over 60 seconds. So take it into consideration as you are creating your content, but I do recommend using shorts as part of your plan. I run multiple channels, and the ones that are doing daily shorts are doing incredibly well with their growth. And the ones that I'm relying solely or mostly on my long form content for is not growing quite as quickly. It's still growing really well. It's still doing really good things, but because I'm not doing daily shorts, it's not bumping up in the subscribers the way that it could. So implementing a short strategy and having it in combination with your long form content really works to your benefit. Now, another thing that I see a lot of people do is use other people's clips or clips of videos or clips of movies or things that they don't own. And they claim fair use for this. Now, there is a very, very specific 5-factor test to determine if you are if you're covered by fair use. And we actually have an IP and entertainment lawyer here on the channel. He's here every single week answering our questions. And we've done videos on fair use. So I'm going to link that down below so that he can explain that to you. What you cannot do is be using other people's content without licensing it. You have to license it from that person. And that means me on YouTube. That means your friend on Instagram. That means Hollywood's movie. You have to make sure you have the licensure to use that unless you are truly, truly, truly using it in a fair use capacity. And very, very, very few people actually are. Watch that video to make sure you're covered or to protect yourself if you are not. And then understand if you are using other people's content, YouTube won't monetize you. You're not allowed to be monetized if you're using other people's content. Likewise, you are not allowed to just take other people's content off of TikTok or Instagram and just put their shorts content up on social media. You are not allowed to be stealing, copyright theft, other people's content. You will not get monetized. And not only will you not be monetized or get demonetized, you can be straight up banned from YouTube and removed from the platform entirely. So you want to make sure that you are very, very clear on what you can and cannot be using, and you are creating your own valuable content. Now, I've also heard this really terrible theory that you should take the content you've already done and just put the exact same thing back on YouTube or use it on 2 separate channels. I keep seeing people ask, well, I have 2 different channels. One is for marketing, one is for driving traffic to something else, and I want to put the exact same video on those 2 channels. YouTube is very clear inside of their terms of service that you cannot reuse that content. You can take clips of it and add more to it, but you cannot reuse the same things as a whole or as the majority of what you're doing. So you'll see I talk about videos on this channel on how you can take something like your shorts content and do like a roundup video. That's acceptable because you're taking different pieces from different things and you're adding in intros, conversations in between them, and you are adding in a wrap up. So you're adding in content. It's not the exact same things. If you take small clips or small sections of things you've already used and use it as part of a new thing that you're developing with new content attached to it, that's allowed. But you cannot take the same things and just keep dropping them there like you can over on TikTok, because this algorithm is a search engine. They already know it's there. They already know it exists. And if you keep putting the same things there, they're going to flag your account. It's going to be a problem, and potentially you can be banned for doing so. So you want to be very, very careful when it comes to reusing those pieces of content or using the same content over and over again. Now, there's lots of things that we have to be careful of when it comes to your YouTube. The last one I want to talk about today is your use of hashtags on YouTube. Some people say you have to have them in your title for your video, and this is just not true. YouTube does allow you 3 hashtags per video. We have lots of videos on how to be using those, how to be leveraging those, and how to use them with intentionality. And you can either put them in your title or you can put them in the caption of your video. And so we see a lot of people who are putting it directly inside of their title. It does not matter if it's title or caption. It can be in either of those places. It will still register those as those hashtags. But if you put it in the title of your video, now you've used less of your title for SEO-friendly search terms. You want to make sure that you have an SEO-friendly title on your video, and you want to use as much space as possible. So you either want to have a really impactful title that explains exactly what people are going to see, or you want to have an impactful title that's shorter and some kind of emotion, some kind of action step for people at the end. We've talked about titles on YouTube before. And so if you're wasting your space with your hashtags, that's just wasting your space. You are lowering your ability to be found in the search engines. So you want to make sure your title is your title, and your title is taking up as much space as possible, and your title has all the good things that make sense and drive traffic to that video, and then leverage the hashtags in the caption, because it doesn't matter where your hashtags are. Either space is going to work. So that way, if you put it in your caption, now you have more space for your title and for your keywords inside of your title, and that's going to serve you a little bit better. Now, there's so much more when it comes to really terrible YouTube advice. So drop your questions down below, things that you've heard, things that you want to confirm are good or not good, and we will do follow-up videos on this as more things start to pop up. I love to watch when I get a lot of questions or people are asking a lot of questions inside of Facebook groups on what they should and should not be doing inside of YouTube, and it's just really, really scary questions that can hurt your account. So we will continue as I see more things pop up and become popular or trending questions. We'll make follow-up videos to this unless you've got questions right now. And we're going to go through this and actually do it for some of the other social platforms as well. So hit the subscribe and notification bell. We'll see you in the upcoming videos as we continue to help you make this your most profitable year ever with the least amount of stress, overwhelm, and time commitment on your content creation possible. We'll see you then.